Following last week's announcement by Bord na Móna to cease harvesting peat by 2025, 5 years earlier than expected, Professor John Sweeney at NUI Maynooth gave his reaction to the move.
I think the fact that the closing date is brought forward to 2025 is very productive, it's very useful, and we have to welcome it. It reflects an awareness and a recognition of the fact that we can't continue to burn peat the way we have. Society simply won't stand for burning our carbon store and paying 100 million euros a year subsidy to do that. So I think Bord na Móna are acting very sensibly here and recognising that the future lies in using the peatlands for other purposes other than simply for burning for electricity generation. The redundancies which will happen will mostly be by natural wastage, but also there will be opportunities for using the peat bogs for other purposes, and I'm thinking in particular of things like renewable energy production, which Bord na Móna are now getting into increasingly, so that other economies will be opening up, other sources of employment will be opening up, and I wouldn't see it as a death knell for the Midlands of Ireland by any means. I think the big question now is in terms of whether the biomass that would become available would be domestically produced or imported. And I know that imported biomass is causing problems in many other parts of the world. The importing of wood, for example, from the southeastern United States is giving cause for concern to some of the residents there in terms of deforestation. So I think we can't simply go on thinking we've solved our problems at the expense of creating one elsewhere. I think also that biomass has to be very carefully quantified in terms of its life cycle, in terms of the emissions, the carbon emissions that it totally accounts for. And I would see perhaps biomass being a very short-term solution in this case for Bord na Móna, with the longer-term solution being much more a move to renewable energy. Farmers, of course, have had their fingers burned a bit with miscanthus, if you'll pardon the pun, and I think they're going to be very cautious about getting into large-scale willow production, for example, which would be the other alternative I would see for biomass production. But I think above all, we don't want to start destroying our forest cover, our tree cover, simply to keep burning in a power station when there are other alternatives for electrical energy to be used in the years ahead. So again, I think it's a short-term solution. It may be for a few years, but I think we have to look beyond that.
Professor Sweeney said that it is important to have a vibrant rural sector, and noted that the reform of the Common Agricultural Policy will be crucial. He highlighted the importance of rural development in Pillar 2 of CAP, such as the Leader and GLOS schemes. But could biomass burning be an answer to Ireland's carbon reduction efforts in the short term? We caught up with Pat Farrelly of Farrelly Brothers Agricultural Contractors, who has been growing willow since 2006. We asked him why he invested in willow and what challenges he encountered.
We probably planted somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 acres of willow all over Ireland. Some of the land was suitable and some of it wasn't. We were given a lot of bad advice early on about what we should do, what way we should plant it, how it needed no fertiliser. As regards the yields, we were given wrong figures. For this country, maybe they worked better in other countries, I don't know. You'd probably be lucky to get 7 tonne off an acre a year. And the price that's been paid for willow at the minute is not enough. A lot of the farmers can't make money on it. And it's just not a good place to be at the minute. We're not actively promoting willow because there's no money in it for farmers.
We asked Pat if he believes, given his experience, that it would be possible for Ireland to produce large-scale supplies of willow, to which he said he does, if support is given.
We need to get up to probably 50,000 hectares of willow, which is a big ask. We need a lot of government support. We need it to be rolled out on a basis something like forestry, where it's 100% establishment grant and where they get a premium every year for probably the first 15 years, and maybe exclude the year where they have a harvest that they don't get paid. But in order to roll this out, with any bit of effect at all, it needs to be something on that scale. It needs to be incentivised the same way as forestry, and it also needs to be tax-free. The farmers, I feel, need to get some kind of compensation for carbon credits and should be able to charge whoever wants them, that they can sell the carbon credit to whatever company wants it.
We asked if willow requires good land to grow or whether poorer land could be used.
I suppose it's like good trees. It takes good land to grow good trees, and it's the very same for willow as it is for any other crop. It will grow on marginal land, but not as good.
Pat was asked what sort of returns he had hoped to make and whether these had been achieved.
Well, we were hoping to get a decent return that everybody would have a few pound out of it. The contractor needs money and the farmer needs money. And the people who are buying the willow need to be able to make money on it as well, for producing energy. I suppose another thing that needs to be looked at is the contractors who are doing all the work need more assistance with the type of machinery that's needed to plant the willow, to cut the willow, and maybe to inject sludge into the ground. We put a lot of investment in, and we gave it a fair shot there for 10 years. And it's just we weren't getting any help. We have no bother in doing it. We know we're able to do it, but we need a bit of help.